Welcome everyone, I'm EroGuySensei, bringing you the news and reviews of adult games from Japan. Today we are looking at a game called Oneone1 no Meritocracy, also known as in English Meritocracy of the Ogre and Blade. While browsing through DL site to find my next great review, I was drawn in by the game's cover art and a trailer that looks like a well done anime opening of something worth of my time.
Wow!
I decided to dig deeper and download its demo, which this review is based on. This is a very interesting title to say the least, but like always, before poking fun of the game, we first dive deep into its background to know what we are dealing with. Meritocracy of the Ogre and Blade is a pixel-style JRPG developed by Oneone1 studio. Let me be the first one to say, that name sounds like a lazy person creating a password for his Google account. Not the best name for a company, I think. Okay, that's pretty fucking cute actually. I rarely if ever play hentai games made with RPG Maker, which if you didn't know is a simple pixel-style game engine that doesn't require coding skill and is vastly popular among many indie developers wanting to create an anime-styled role-playing game. Steam and other marketplaces are infested with these games nowadays due to the fact that they are super easy to produce. Even I have used the engine in the past to make my own horrific creations, but nothing I dare to publish, thank God. When I play these games, most of the time I feel like a child dies somewhere in the world for each game made with RPG Maker. It's not that the engine is bad, it's just that making these games is a super easy thing to do, so a lot of crap is mass produced that floods the market, thus drowning good games never to be found from a pile of disappointment. I usually stay away from anything done with RPG Maker, but every now and then a good game is made with it, and as a fan of story-driven hentai games, I can't pass on a good story done well. While we are focusing on Ogre and Blade, Oneone1 Studio has created other titles in the past, games that can even be found on Steam. The size of the team behind the game appears to be somewhere around 5 people or more based on the official website and information offered about the staff there. Voice acting is made available only for the female characters in the game, which seems to be done by 7 different people. This information was also taken from the official website, but beyond that I had to learn more about the voice actors through their Twitter page. Judged by my quick search about them, they seem to be freelance focused on adult games.
Well, no shit.
The music is licensed from Studio Mariburu, which is a Japanese music studio specialized in background music and music in general. I can tell you already, just because of them, some of the scenes in the game are far more better than they actually are thanks to the epic music playing on the background. Lastly mentioned, the game promises 10 different endings and at least 55 hentai scenes. With all this out of the way, let's see what Meritocracy of the Ogre and Blade can offer. And by the way, what in the hell does meritocracy mean? No, I'm serious, if you are gonna name your game like that, you better explain it to your audience. Oh, you did? Alright, that's taken from Wikipedia. So not even the creators knew how to explain meritocracy. Why not just call it Ogre and Blade and save yourself the embarrassment? Just for that one quote, I can't take anything in this game seriously. But truth to be told, I don't think even the creators took themselves seriously while making this game. To explain myself why, it's time to talk about the game's plot. The story is based on a girl whose name is forgettable and rarely mentioned, and I couldn't translate it correctly, so let's just call her that generic big booby anime girl. Or how about Tsunade? You know goddamn well why. So, Tsunade's village was burned down by a demon lady, and her parents were killed in the process.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
For some weird reason, this gives our character the biggest orgasm upon waking up from nightmare of her past. Yeah, I don't think the voice actor got the right line for that one. Tsunade is a transfer student of a special school for gifted students possessing superpower what people refer to as brave.
What a story, Mark.
Tsunade's brave happens to be extraordinary, which makes her a special snowflake yet to discover her true potential. Sounds like another Ichigo character plot from Bleach, and we all know how likable and rich in personality these characters tend to be. Anyway, that's pretty much where my understanding of the story ends. There was so much stuff explained so fast that I fell off before things even started. For example, I was trying to figure out what kind of school this is, what are we studying in class, and why do students have cell phones that gives missions to a transfer student on her first day in school, asking her to go to dangerous places alone to kill horny demons and creeps.
Housing for registered sex offenders!
I don't think this school is safe for its students, but then again, if the chairman of the school happens to be the demon lady behind the killing of your parents, I guess it makes sense.
This is a cool place.
I learned through playing that the only way you can get into this school is if you are a girl with huge tits or a guy who looks like every girl's wet dream. No, I'm serious, every single girl in this game carries a pair of huge melons at least twice the size of their head. And no, I don't have any problem with it, but I can't help myself to lose focus from the story when staring at these delicious balloons. How can the male students get any work done with a class full of Tsunades? Even on her first day in school, our fellow classmate can help but point out how huge her tits are. Thanks, Ricky. I hope I don't need to sit next to you. Oh shit. All the things aside from the story, the game is actually exciting at first, the world is well designed and the school feels like a cool place to explore, if only the demo had been more focused around it. For some weird reason, most of the NPCs in the game can't stop walking even when they are standing still. For someone who has used RPG Maker in the past, this is not a hard thing to fix, even for a beginner using the engine for the first time. So I really would like to know, what made the developers so incapable or lazy to fix this minor issue? The combat in Meritocracy is one of the best combat systems I have seen made with RPG Maker. It was actually so well done that I almost wanted to buy the full version just for the combat alone. But very quickly did I realize that it was shallow, offering no challenge whatsoever. Your character can use various moves which all blend in nicely to your skill list, and monsters have weaknesses that are fun to discover. But almost instantly do you realize that every combat in the game is just spamming your strongest attack with no fear of running out of mana to use skills, or health to have a game over. This is what breaks the combat, which otherwise is done well. Even the boss fights were downright laughable, with epic music playing on the background while I slayed them in a way which can only be described best if I just show it to you.
全力でいきます。覚悟してください。焼き尽くせ。常にこうありたいものですね。
If you want a challenge, how about my final form?
全力でいきます。覚悟してください。私の勝ちですね。
Final form my ass!
I was playing on normal difficulty, which was the highest offered at least in the demo. I know it's a hentai game and all we want at the end of the day is just to see some action, but when your combat is literally just spamming one button to win all fights, why even bother making the system in the first place? I get that not everyone is looking for a challenge in these games, and some of us just want to follow the story, but when you have an RPG that spends a lot of time around combat, you want it to be fun and meaningful at least. If this is what normal difficulty feels like, I don't even want to know how easy it will play out.
全力でいきます。覚悟してください。
So the combat wasn't strong enough to carry my wallet to the register. What about the hentai scenes in the game? Are they any good? Well, the demo took me a couple hours to complete, and this was partly due to my need to explore everything around me and fight each monster that came in my way. I was also lost in translation for some time, but with or without all that, I only came across one real scene in the demo, and it was not during the story, nor was it through side quests or anything, but it was by randomly discovering a bathroom while exploring the school. Yes, that's right, my first scene after 1 hour of playing Meritocracy was looking at my character taking a piss in a toilet. If you really try to squeeze the hentai out of this demo, there also was a girl masturbating behind a building. That's some sweet, hot pic selection right there. There were other minor scenes as well. For instance, you can buy your way into a bathhouse and let a girl squeeze your melons for a few seconds. Or if that doesn't impress you yet, you can also run around the school or town finding NPCs who will grab your ass, because that's what people do in this world, I guess. Even a bedsick old man gets his piece of your meat. I don't even know why I'm here. To really find the hentai scenes in this demo, I had to take a look at the product description on DL side and see if there was a mention how to get to the good stuff. And what do you know, it's one of those get defeated to get rewarded type of hentai games. Well, guess what, I tried to die in this game, I really did, but I bet that hell is going to freeze faster before my character dies in combat. The product description tells about an automatic defeat system which is accessible from the menu, but for some weird reason even when turning it on, nothing changed. Poor me was left with tears in my eyes for wasting my time with little to no hentai being seen through my playthrough. At this point it would be wrong to try to defend the game, even when it promises over 55 hentai scenes in the full game. If your demo can't show even at least one real hentai scene, I'm sorry but you have majorly fucked up. The character art is nice though, which helps the game to capture your interest at first. The voice acting is decent, but it lacks male voices, which makes scenes with both female and male characters somewhat odd and disappointing, having to listen to silence in between sentences given by male characters.
潜んでいた敵兵にびっくりして荷物を全部川に落っことしたのはあなたよね、オメロ。苦しい言い訳は見苦しいわよ。少しは落ち着きなさい。そんな早口で喋っていると舌噛むわよ。
Because of this, I couldn't find any interest to any of the male characters in the game, even though they seem to carry a strong role in the story. Especially our silver-haired bad guy, whose jacket seems to have a mind of its own. I'm just saying, that looks weird. Unfortunately to many, the game is all in Japanese, but thanks to the white bubbles with big red icons on them, it's relatively easy to follow where the game wants to take you, even if you don't understand a word in Japanese. However, the game is clearly heavy on its story, which if not understood well, leaves much to nothing left in the game for you. There's better hentai with less confusion out there, but it's not the worst RPG Maker based hentai game I've seen. It actually shows effort put into it, which I can respect even if it's not executed well in all places. Truth to be told, the product description promised so much for the game that wasn't seen in the demo that it is hard for me to speak anything about them without experience. As a review based on the demo, this is a long shot game worth checking out, but I can only recommend it for people able to understand Japanese. And that's my take on Meritocracy of the Ogre and Blade. If you liked the review, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to learn more about old games from Japan. If you want to see reviews based on full games instead of demos, consider supporting the show on Patreon. With all said and done, I'll see you in the next video.